I never thought I'd be telling this story. Honestly, I wish I didn't have one like this to share. But here we are. Everything began the night my mom sat me down in the kitchen and said the words I'd been dreading since the day we lost my dad. I think I'm ready to get married again. Her voice shook when she said it. She tried to smile like she was afraid of my reaction. And for a second, I swear, I couldn't breathe. I was 17 when my dad passed away. It was sudden. A car accident. One moment he was there, calling me champ, reminding me to bring my jacket because the weather was cold. The next moment he was gone. Just gone. Losing him tore a hole through me, through us. My mom cried herself to sleep for months. I tried to be strong for her, for my younger sister, even though inside I was a wreck. Our house felt like a museum of his memory, his tools in the garage, his jacket on the coat rack, his framed photo on the mantel. Every single thing in that house whispered Dad. So when Mom told me she wanted to marry someone new, my heart clenched. She deserved happiness, I knew that. She was only in her 40s. She still had so much life ahead of her. But the thought of another man stepping into our lives, into his space, it made me feel sick. His name was Richard. The first time I met him, he shook my hand firmly with that practiced charm older men use when they wanted to seem impressive. "I've heard so much about you," he said, smiling too wide. "I can't wait to get to know you better." He was polite, I'll give him that. He dressed sharply, smelled like expensive cologne, and had a way of talking that made my mom laugh, a sound I hadn't heard in years. For that reason alone, I told myself to give him a chance. If he could make her laugh again, maybe he wasn't so bad. But there was something off. It started small. He would accidentally move Dad's picture frame off the mantel when he came over. Or he'd call my dad's old recliner, that dusty chair, and suggest getting rid of it. At first, I thought I was imagining things. Maybe I was just being sensitive. But I wasn't. One evening, I came home early from school and overheard him talking to Mom in the kitchen. "You really should take down those old photos," he was saying. "It's been years. You're starting a new chapter. Don't you think it's time to let go?" My stomach twisted. My mom didn't answer right away, but I heard the hesitation in her silence. "Yeah." That night I went into my room and stared at the framed picture of Dad on my desk. His arm around me when I was 10, both of us grinning with matching baseball caps. "I won't let him erase you," I whispered. But things only escalated from there. Richard started coming around more often. He'd sit at the head of the table during dinner Dad's seat. He'd make comments about how my mom should sell the old truck my dad used to drive because it was just taking up space. The worst part? He tried to bond with me and my sister by calling himself Dad. "Come on, kiddo," he said one afternoon when he offered to drive me to practice. "Your dad would want me to look out for you." I froze. "You're not my dad," I said flatly. His smile faltered for a second, but then he chuckled like it was a joke. Sure. But I'll be the next best thing." I hated him for that. When the wedding planning started, the tension grew unbearable. Mom asked me to walk her down the aisle since Dad couldn't. I was honored. But then Richard's family got involved, and suddenly there were whispers about making it official by having me call him Dad during the ceremony. The idea made me want to vomit. At the rehearsal dinner, everything exploded. We were all standing there, practicing our parts. Richard put his arm around my shoulders and said loudly in front of everyone, "From now on, you can call me Dad. I'll be your real father now." The room went silent. My mom looked horrified. My sisters stared at the floor, and my relatives exchanged uncomfortable glances. I felt my ears burn, my chest tighten. Don't ever say that again, I snapped, shoving his arm off me. Richard's smile vanished. His face hardened, and he leaned close so only I could hear. You need to get over it. He's gone. I'm here now. Start acting like it. In that moment, I wanted to scream, to punch him, to tell everyone what he'd been saying behind closed doors, but all I could do was storm out, my heart pounding, my throat burning with unshed tears. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling and thought about Dad, about how he used to tell me to stand up for what was right, no matter what. Don't let anyone walk over you, champ, he'd say, even if it's hard, especially if it's hard. I knew then I couldn't stay silent. Richard wasn't just marrying my mom, he was trying to replace my dad, erase him from our lives like he never existed. And I wasn't going to let that happen. The wedding was only 2 days away, and I had a decision to make. I didn't expect my words to cause such a storm. The entire hall went dead silent after I said that I wasn't going to let anyone erase my dad. My mom froze on the altar, her hands trembling. Her new husband, Mark, looked like he had just swallowed fire. Are you serious right now? Mark growled through clenched teeth. This is our wedding day. You want to humiliate your mother in front of everyone? But I wasn't backing down. My heart was pounding, but I stood taller. I'm not humiliating anyone. I'm protecting my dad's memory. You can marry my mom, but you'll never replace him. Stop trying. Whispers rippled across the guests. Some of Mom's relatives were nodding in agreement. Others looked at me like I had just ruined the entire event. Mom finally spoke, her voice breaking. Sweetheart, please. Can we talk about this later? Please don't do this now. But Mark wasn't having it. He stepped closer to me, lowering his voice so only I could hear, but his anger was obvious. Listen, kid. I'm your father now. You need to accept that, or things are going to get very hard for you in this family. That was the final straw. My chest burned with anger. You'll never be my father. My dad earned that place with love, sacrifice, and respect. You're just trying to steal it. Gasps echoed around the hall. My mom's face went pale. She whispered, Oh my God. The ceremony was falling apart. Guests were awkwardly shuffling, unsure whether to stay or leave. My little cousin started crying from the tension. And then, to everyone's shock, Mark raised his voice and shouted, You're disrespecting me in front of everyone on my wedding day. I clenched my fists, but I didn't move. I just said, You disrespected me first by erasing my dad from my mom's life, from my life, from this wedding. My mom finally broke down in tears. Stop it, both of you, please, she cried. She turned to Mark. You told me you respected my late husband. You promised you'd never try to replace him. Mark looked cornered, but his pride was too big to let him back down. I do respect him, but he's gone. I'm here now. Don't I deserve to be honored, too? I shook my head. No one said you didn't deserve respect. But replacing him? Pretending he never existed? That's cruel to me, to Mom, to everyone who loved him. The room grew heavy with silence. Then my uncle, my dad's brother, stood up. His voice boomed across the hall. Everyone turned. My uncle's face was red with emotion. My brother gave his life for his family. He was a good man. And today, not once was his name spoken. Not once was he honored. You don't erase a man like that. The tension snapped. Several guests clapped softly, agreeing. Mark's face twisted with fury, but he was outnumbered. The ceremony didn't continue as planned. My mom rushed into a back room crying. Guests started leaving quietly, whispering to each other. Some looked at me with sympathy, others with judgment. I sat alone for a while, shaking, wondering if I had just destroyed my mom's wedding or saved it from becoming a lie. Later, Mom came to me. Her makeup was ruined, her eyes swollen from crying. She sat down and took my hand. "Why, honey?" she whispered. "Why did you have to say that now?" I looked her in the eyes. Because if I didn't, Dad's memory would have been buried forever, and I couldn't let that happen. She sighed deeply, her shoulders slumping. "You don't understand. Mark just wants to be part of our family. He wants to fill the emptiness." "Fill it?" I said, my voice trembling. "Mom, that emptiness is Dad. He can't be replaced. If you let Mark do that, then it's like Dad never mattered. Don't you see? That hurts me more than anything." Tears streamed down her face. For a long time, she said nothing. Mark stormed into the room. His face was still red with anger. "This has gone too far. Either he apologizes or I'm done. I won't be treated this way by some kid." I stood up, shaking but firm. "I'll never apologize for defending my dad. Ever." Mark sneered. "Then maybe you don't belong in this family." That hit hard. My chest tightened. "Maybe I don't," I whispered. My mom gasped. "Don't say that. Both of you stop it." But Mark doubled down. "No, I won't live in a house where I'm constantly compared to a ghost. It's him or me, Emily." Silence. My mom looked frozen. Her eyes darted between me and him, torn apart by the ultimatum. I could see her heart breaking, but I could also see the truth in her eyes deep down. She knew Mark was wrong. Finally, my mom spoke, her voice trembling but firm. "Mark, if you really loved me, you'd never make me choose between my son and you. And if you truly respected me, you'd honor the man who gave me this son in the first place. My husband, my first love, his father." Mark's face twisted. "So, you're choosing him over me?" She nodded slowly, tears falling down her cheeks. "If that's what it means, then yes. Because he's my son. And he's right, his father deserves to be remembered." Mark's jaw tightened. He grabbed his jacket and stormed out of the room, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. I stood there stunned. Did my mom just end her marriage before it even started? She collapsed into my arms, sobbing. "I'm sorry. I just wanted to be happy again. But maybe I was forcing it. Maybe I was trying too hard to move on." I hugged her tightly. "You deserve to be happy, Mom. But not at the cost of forgetting Dad. He'll always be part of us." The wedding was officially called off. Guests went home confused, whispering about the dramatic disaster. For weeks, Mom avoided calls and messages, too embarrassed to explain. But slowly, things began to heal. One evening, Mom brought out Dad's old photo albums. For the first time in years, we sat together and looked through them. She smiled through her tears. "Your dad would have been so proud of you today, standing up like that." For the first time, I felt peace. Mark never came back. And maybe that was for the best. Because I realized something important. Sometimes speaking up feels like destruction, but in reality, it's the only way to protect the truth. And I'd do it again because my dad's memory deserved nothing less.